All right, moving on to example 2. Example 2, it requires all this crazy stuff again. So let's look at it. We want common denominators. Basically, it's just kind of like, it's not that hard to do. So let's go ahead and just start by getting common denominators. So I'm going to work in blue, and I'm going to go straight under this equal sign. And I'm going to make a bigger fraction bar, because I need the bigger fraction bar, y'all. We're going to make it bigger. So in order to solve rational equations, we want to get a common denominator. So we're going to start with everything on this side. We have a 1, and I have a 2x plus 5 here. All right, and on this side, I have an x, and I have an 11x plus 8 on this side here. This is what I have here. Now, in order to find the common denominator, I got to add these, I got to multiply these two things together. So on this side, I have to add the 11x plus 8. See, because they're going to multiply together, this one times this one. On this side, I have to add the 2x plus 5. So these are now being multiplied together. And now let's remember the rules. Whenever I have something on the bottom here, like I've just added it, I added this 11x plus 8, I now need to put this up here as well too. So I'm putting it on the numerator, which is the top, and the denominator, which is the bottom. So there's my 11x plus 8. And then on this side, I'm going to have 2x plus 5. 2x plus 5. And then this is the fun part, because of the way these work out. And if you don't understand why I can scratch this out on the bottom yet, don't panic. Just be cool with doing it. The reason why we can scratch this out at the bottom is because we go back later and check for extraneous solutions, and we use the original denominators to do that. So we don't have to worry about these other denominators because we're done with it. So now we can focus on this top only. So when we focus on this top, what we end up with is 1 times 11x plus 8. So that's just 11x plus 8. 11x plus 8 equals, and then here we go, x times 2x. Oh, bad news, 2x squared, great. 2x squared plus 5x, plus 5x. This is where this stinks. Now we've introduced a square root in here. Y'all know that means factoring, so that's terrible. But let's go ahead and move our 11x over. This is the same stuff we've been doing forever and ever. If you still haven't learned how to do this, like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it's available, it's there. I don't know what it's going to take for you to learn it, but we've been doing this stuff since October, like literally October. 5x minus 11x is minus 6x, and then minus 8. All I did was move everything over. I moved this over, moved this over, moved this over, moved everything over, and that gives me set to equal to 0. This is a skill you already know. Whenever x squared appears, you need to remember, oh, that means 0 should be on one side and everything else should be on the other side. And then you have to do the factor by grouping on this. So here we go. I'm going to take this up here and do the factor by grouping up here. 2x squared minus 6x minus 8. The factor by grouping up here. And what does that give us? Well, let's see. Our a is 2, so we can't do the shortcut. Our b is negative 6. Our c is negative 8. Our ac is negative 16. So it has to multiply to negative 16, and it has to add to negative 6. So that's got to be an 8 and a 2. But which one's negative? I believe that's a negative 8, and that's a positive 2. So I'm going to split this up, 2x squared minus 8x, here's my negative 8, plus my 2x, and again, this is not new. We've been doing this for a long time, so dig deep and try to remember it. Hell, we just had this on the test. Pull this out. Now I'm going to take my 2x in the first one, and I end up with x minus 4. And then I'm going to pull out a 2 on the next one, and I end up with x minus 4. And you know you did everything right if you can see that these match. If those match, you did everything right. So you end up with 2x plus 2. You end up with 2x plus 2 and x minus 4. So when I factor this out, I end up with 2x plus 2 times x minus 4. And then, of course, guess what we got to do? Now we have to solve for these solutions. Now I have to say 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. And I have to say x minus 4 is equal to 0. And I have to solve. So that means x equals 4. X equals 4. So I have one solution of x equals 4, which is nice. And then I have another one. Let's see, move the negative 2 over, move the negative 2 over, and then I get 2x equals negative 2. Then I divide the 2 out on both sides, and I end up with x equals negative 1. And again, I'm just dividing the 2. So that means drawing the 2 like this, etc. I'm just out of room. So 2x equals negative 2, so I end up with x equals negative 1. And again, for those who are like, oh no, what just happened? I already know the questions. Ugh. Here we go. 2x plus 2 equals 0. I'm going to subtract the 2. I get 2x equals negative 2. I'm going to divide the 2. And I get x equals negative 1. That's where I did that. That's what all the people who are like, oh no, I'm lost. That's all I did. Set it equal to 0 and did that. So now I found my solutions as x equals 4 and x equals negative 1. Now what we want to do is we want to figure out where it doesn't equal x, and that's where the bottom is equal to 0. So I'm going to switch this to blue so you can see my denominator work here. We're going to find where the denominator is equal 0. So 2x plus 5, it cannot equal 0. So let's solve for this. Negative 5, then I have 2x equals negative 5. Divide by 2, and I get x equals negative 5 over 2. So I have that here. We cannot have x equals negative 5 over 2. And then this side I have 11x plus 8 equals 0. Cannot equal 0. Subtract the 8. Subtract the 8. You get 11x equals negative 8. Divide by 11. Divide by 11. There, notice that we're using fractions, y'all, so be comfortable with fractions. So x cannot equal that. And yes, this is a lot of work on the screen. I'm keeping this on the screen because this is what I should see on your paper. Maybe not as ugly as my work, but I'll take it if it is. This is what it took to solve this. This is what it took to solve this. So when y'all tell me you're doing this in your head, you're not. I have maybe 4 kids that can do this in their head. The rest of you, like me, we're stuck making messes like this. So keep that in mind as we move forward. All right, that's example 2.